The landscape of WWE and specifically the women's division could be changing forever with this news. Let's get right into it. What's going on, guys? It's your buddy, it's your pal, it's Andrew here from What's Good in Wrestling. How are you guys today? If you guys are new here and you love wrestling news and fun and discussion, make sure to like this video and subscribe, join the roster. We have a ton of fun here on What's Good in Wrestling, and this background's getting upgraded, so don't you worry. It's going to get a lot more fun. It's going to get a lot more WWE back there, so stick around. And yeah, I'm having so much fun, so let's waste no more time, and let's talk about the introduction of two new titles that could be happening very soon. And I know this is just speculation, so don't shoot the messenger. Let's just talk about it. It seems as though for the last while we've been hearing reports of a possibility of mid-card women's titles coming into the WWE. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of like dirt sheets and gossip and Meltzer and everybody else, but there is a quote that I will throw up on the screen for you guys right now, and it's basically from Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, saying that the belts are being talked about in WWE. The Women's United States Championship would be on either Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown, while the Women's Intercontinental title would be on the other main roster brand. So what he's saying is someone is going to criticize me because I don't know who first reported it. I asked, and I was basically told that is, in fact, what is being talked about. So there you go. Two more championships coming, one on each brand, Meltzer said. So I also pride that from Cultaholic.com. I love their show. I love their podcast. So make sure to go check out Cultaholic, even though I'm sure all of you guys already watch them if you're watching me. Look, I have no problem with the WWE bringing in new championships, but what I don't want to happen is there being too many and the roster being, I don't know, like overprotected with championships. Like you're trying to give more and more people more titles. The thing is the women deserve more championships and more opportunities. So there is, two different sides to this. And the one thing that I don't like is that they sometimes take care of the IC and United States Championship with the men, and there's sometimes some really good stories, and lately the Intercontinental Championship has been treated very well. The United States title, Logan Paul has done a decent job with it, and at parts it looked like a very strong championship. Right now it's kind of cooled off, but at least the IC title still has it, and that's what Triple H has been trying to do since he's took over in the WWE. So basically what I'm getting at is that I'm fully open to the women getting mid-card titles and there being one on each brand, but you need to showcase them. And I've had that issue again with the men's titles as well. There's some pay-per-views where Logan Paul as the United States champion is not fighting. There's some where the IC title's not on there. There's sometimes where the tag titles aren't on there. The women's tag titles, they have shows without the women's world title being defended. And I mean, Cody was just in the 6-man tag, so he was being featured, but that title wasn't being defended. And growing up, on almost every single pay-per-view that I watched, they had the titles being defended on almost every single show. And that's probably one of my biggest pet peeves since, re-entering myself hardcore into wrestling over the last 6 or 7 years, because I was always watching wrestling, and I still will forever. I had a little bit of a moment where I'd be like only watching the pay-per-views, and that was back when WWE was struggling quite a bit. And I would sometimes watch and be like, oh, okay, so like why is the title not on this show? Okay, whatever. And then it seemed like from then on out, they didn't have the titles on every single show, and it's getting less and less as time goes on. Go back to the days where you were like guaranteed to have a number one contender for every single show, and the champion would have to defend. Those days were amazing because you could get a new champion on almost every single pay-per-view or PLE. So yeah, bring in these mid-card titles, but much like the men's side of things, they need to give the women those equal opportunities and promote those belts on every show. They need to give them an opportunity every week to promote the champion and the number one contenders, which could open up a lot of doors for some wrestlers that might not be what they call world champion material, but could turn into world champion material with a good reign with the title. And I'm looking specifically at people that you're kind of on the fence on whether or not you think that they should be a long reigning world champion. And I know Nia Jax has had a brief cup of coffee with the title. Same thing with Naomi. They've both had opportunities, but if they have really strong runs with those belts, maybe that propels them to even longer world title reigns, even though it looks like Nia Jax is slated to be a champion coming up very soon. But you even have people like Zelina Vega, right? You want to put a belt on her, maybe Chelsea Green. You can open up so many opportunities and so many doors for these women that weren't open before. It all just comes down to whether or not they're going to show these titles. I'm going to stress it so much. You can have 300 titles in the WWE, but if they mean nothing and they're not being promoted, they're not being shown, then they literally will mean nothing. For the longest time, that IC and US title meant absolutely nothing until a wrestler would come in and change the culture, much like The Miz did. You know, he took that IC title and brought it back a little bit. You have John Cena doing the US Open Challenge. You need those moments, but you don't want to just have a flash in the pan for these titles to be important. They need to be important all the time. I mean, they just brought in that Speed Championship, and that'll probably be gone soon. That 24/7 championship, like that was a flash in the pan. Let's just bring in these mid-card titles for the women. Get rid of that Speed Championship. Don't bring back any hardcore 24/7 title unless they're actually going to use it, even though I genuinely dislike the 24/7 title. Let's just go ahead and utilize these mid-card titles and have the women have more opportunity. I'm down for it. Let's see it. Who could be the champions if it happens? Let me know down below. What design do you want? Who do you want to see as the champ? What would happen? When would they defend it? Would it be weekly on Raw, SmackDown, or NXT? Would it be just a monthly PLE defense? Let me know down below. If you're new here and you love wrestling like myself, like this video and subscribe. That's what's good in wrestling. I'm Andrew, and I'll see you in the next video.